I'd left my $40,000 a year job at 19 years old. And for what? Now, for starters, I was not salary. I was making $11 an hour as a Wendy's co-general manager. But Nuggs, $11 an hour full-time is only $23,000 a year. You're full of shit. I was working 60 to 70 hours every single week for a year straight. Sometimes I would get one day off, but I usually wouldn't. And I'm not complaining about it. And honestly, if I could go back in time, if I had a magic portal, a time machine where I could go back and I could tell this guy to put a real shirt on, I don't think that I would. I was able to move out pretty soon after I turned 19 years old. And within the same week that I moved out, I bought a $7,500 car out of cash. It was my very first car. And I did this all in such a short time frame. So I'm very happy that I worked as hard as I did for that year. It was actually closer to 2 years, but I was only making the $11 for the last year. I was able to learn about finance, learn about how to save money, and I did go through my fair share of blowing money on things I didn't need as a stupid teenager. But I did learn all about finance. I was able to keep food on my plate, and I met some great friends at work, some that I still have to this day, and my girlfriend of 19 months, I met her at work. But there were countless, and I mean countless times where I got screwed over and I just pushed it under the rug. I was worried about job security, and I thought I was doing really well for my age, so I was like, I can't be messing this up. I don't want to mess this up. It's 2020 and I was just promoted to a co-general manager making $11 an hour, and I wanted so freaking bad to impress the owner. Because I had a conference with him previously and he told me that he was looking at me for the next general manager, and that sounded great to me. I wanted so bad to get promoted, but at the time I didn't know that general managers were actually scheduled a 60-hour work week and they were paid salary for 50 hours. Now, of course, as a co-general manager, which is the step below, I was weaseled into working 60, 70, and in one case 79 hours in 1 week. But looking back, if I were to have taken that promotion, I basically might as well have just shoved a pickle up my ass, because I actually would have taken a $4,000 pay cut the way that they screw you over with the salary of 50 hours. And it doesn't matter what you work after, they'll still pay you the $12.50 equivalent for being the highest up in the store, which is just crazy to me. Now, about a year later, there's a McDonald's down the road that pays a 16-year-old with 2 working thumbs $13.50 an hour, but I was so excited to get that $1.50 raise. So really, I was doing all of this for nothing. I didn't realize how bad of a situation it was, but of course I didn't know this at the time. So let's rewind to July 2020. Here's an instance of how I got absolutely boned in the ass and I didn't realize it. Well, I realized it, but I just sort of pushed it under the rug. Now, my owner owned all of the Wendy's in the local area, and he actually called me on my personal cell phone and offered me a $25 bonus if I were to go and drive about 40 minutes away to this store that was apparently failing because everybody was calling off. And he said he'll pay me for the hours that I'm needed there, and he'll also give me a $25 bonus. And so, of course, me being the yes man that I was, I told him, of course. Even though it was my first day off in about 14 days, and all of the shifts I had worked prior were at least 12 hours, ranging all the way up to 20 hours. Yes, that was a thing. There were several instances where I had to come in at 5:30 in the morning and I didn't leave until 1 in the morning. But this was a normal thing here. So anyways, he offered me the bonus. I went ahead and took it. Went over there, worked about 6 hours, and it was a shit show. I mean, the store was nasty. I totally see why he needed somebody over there. It was disgusting. But I realized about a week and a half later on my next payroll that it wasn't processed in my payroll at all. So I went ahead and sent him a text. Of course, he didn't respond. So the next day I called him, and he sounded pretty irritated with me, but told me that payroll probably messed something up and it'll probably be fixed next time. So anyways, I wait until my next payroll 2 weeks later and realized that I got paid for 4 hours, so I got gypped out of my 2 hours, and there was no $25 bonus in sight. So I mean, again, it's just like what the fuck? Like, because he was irritated with me, my yes man self was like, you know what? I don't want to piss him off anymore. I want this promotion. So I just let it go. So anyways, it was right around this time where they offered me to go to another store, so transfer about 10 minutes away to a different store. And they were going to offer me a 50-cent raise to go ahead and work with their general manager as a co-general manager. Again, still below. And but I was going to be making $11.50 an hour, which was crazy to me. I was like, holy crap, man, I'm rich. So I went ahead and took it, and they had me basically doing every single thing a general manager would do. I was making the schedule. I was doing interviews and hiring people in. I was hiring managers in. I was training said managers. I was ordering the truck for the food. I was ordering, this is right around when COVID hit, so I had to go ahead and order everything for COVID. All the masks, the thermometers, all the supplies that comes with it. I was the guy calling in if I was closing and I was going in at 11 o'clock. I was calling in at 5:30 in the morning to make sure everybody showed up, make sure everything's all right. On the few days that I did get off, I would come in even if I didn't clock in to get paid. I would just go to make sure that, everything's running smoothly. I would come in to clean the parking lot. I wanted this store to succeed, and I thought that would show, and hopefully that I would get the general manager position, right? But this store had a problem with managers quitting a lot. They would just randomly not show. But anyways, there was one day in specific where this happened, where an opener didn't show up, but the closer from the night before didn't show up either. Because the closing manager didn't show up, I had to cover 2 shifts there, so 16 hours. And then the next morning at 5:30, no opening manager showed up, so nobody was there to even unlock the door. So there were 2 crew members just waiting outside, smoking cigarettes, waiting for somebody. And that's when I wake up to a phone call at about 5:40, and it's my general manager. He calls me and tells me that I need to come in because the opener never showed up, and I explained to him, hey dude, you just had me work, I just got off work like 3 hours ago. I'm just trying to get some sleep, man. Like, I just worked 16 hours. I've worked 10 days straight at least, and all these days have been 12 to 20 hour shifts. I was like, let me just sleep in. I can come in, a little bit later, but just let me sleep in. How about I come in at like 11 or something? And he was not happy about that at all. He told me that he was just going to come in and just whatever, forget about it. But anyways, he hangs up the phone and I try to go to sleep. And 10 minutes later, I get a phone call from the owner, and now he's pissed off because I guess the general manager called him and he was pissed off and they bitched about me or something. And ultimately, he decided that I needed to come in. And I explained the same situation to him. Hey man, I'm fucking tired. Like, I just worked for you. I just worked my butt off. It was a Thursday and I already had 55 hours in. And he begins to tell me that I'm unreliable, and if he can't count on me, then why am I even working for him? And I should have told him that he could get his lazy ass out and he could go in and help for a few hours and help them out, but I didn't. And so I went in. I worked 6 o'clock and he asked me if I could stay until 4 p.m. So just like a shorter shift, like 10 hours. And I said that was fine, even though I was absolutely tired. I was so tired, man. I was here I am on your fry station. Here I am coordinating, making your schedule. I was tired, bro. I was tired as shit. But I wanted this position. But this was sort of a turning point for me when I realized that this isn't worth it, because the entire day, my general manager was just berating me. He was an older guy, right? So here I am, 19 years old, and he's probably in his 40s, 50s. So not like old, but he was old enough to be my father. But anyways, the entire day he was just being a dick, telling me to man up, telling me, he's worked stuff like this before and he shouldn't have had to come in the first place. And I was like, just go home then. Whatever, go home. I'll just deal with it. And, he was just being a sourpuss the whole day. Anyways, 4 o'clock comes and somebody doesn't show up. And I'm like, dude, listen, I've worked literally 24 hours, with maybe a 2-hour break. And you fucking called me in the middle of the night and had me come in. And I did, because I'm trying to do the better for the store. Anyways, he let me go about 6 o'clock. So I only ended up working 12 hours there after the 16. So a 28-hour shift with basically about 2-3 hours. And I came home and I bawled my eyes out. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was like the weight of the world had just hit me. I just got so screwed, and I did all of that for probably $200-300. And it just sort of made me realize, I'm screwing my social life. My job satisfaction was at an absolute low. It was just the most miserable feeling in the world. So I went ahead and quit. I called my boss and I told him, hey man, I'm done. I'm going to go turn my keys in tomorrow. He asked me why, and I was respectful and I told him everything that had happened. And he's like, well, it sounds to me like you just have a problem with the general manager. You can just go ahead and transfer stores. We can get you at a different store about 45 minutes away, and I'll give you about a 20-cent raise for gas. Well, listen, sir, I'm sorry. The 20-cent raise for gas is not going to cut it. You can suck on my balls. That same restaurant's now paying crew is just as much as I was making as a co-general manager about 9 months ago. So, honestly, the owner and everybody there can suck on my nuts. I've always had the belief, if you're not happy with the money you're making, or you're not happy with your job at all, find something better. If you're making minimum wage, find something better. Even if you're making $20 an hour and you're miserable, find something better. I love this expression, right? It goes, if you died today, your job application would be posted before your obituary. You are replaceable at work, but you're not replaceable at home. So anyways, that was the experience with me. That's why I left my pretty decent paying job for the age that I was, and considering it was my first job. But it was reliable, it was safe, but it was almost too safe, and it was just eating up my entire life. I gave up an entire year of my life for $40,000. But anyways, if you guys like the video, make sure to like it and drop a subscription. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Dash on.